Hello, viewers, welcome back. Are you worried about your children's not listening to you? Are you stressed about your child's careless attitude? Parenting is a very difficult task. Let's know more about it. So, parenting has always been a very difficult task. It's not a straight road, it is like a roller coaster. And we, as parents, always want best out of our children in the journey to bring the best. We sometimes become too strict with them, and then there's always a fight between parent and children that child is not listening to me. The parent says, mother says the children has become very rebellious. The journey is never ending. So, to discuss on this topic on parenting, we have Dr. Sharmila, and she is an author of the book I Misunderstood. And her daughter, she has brought up a child in such a nice way. I would like to know more about your journey on how you brought up Ashley, to a
Okay. Hey, hi everyone. This is Dr. Sharmila, author of the book I Misunderstood. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Santosh. Kudos to you for your efforts in bringing such important topic to people, and I'll do my very best to make sure that I'm being very candid and sharing my journey as a mother, as a mentor with you. So, yeah, uh, you are right on saying that parenting, especially, is a roller coaster ride. You never know when it's going to be on the high, when it's going to be on the low, but you just have to ride along with it and make sure that the journey becomes enjoyable and adventurous. So that's the way I looked at it. Like you said, Ashley is my 16-year-old, and she's a international speaker and author as well. And we've had quite the rough journey to begin with, and now we are on this path of helping other parents and children build amazing relationships together. So uh, happy to share. It started off rough. So sixth
okay.
grade, I was a full-time working mom, and I worked about 16 hours a day. And Ashley was not too happy about it, and she'd write hate emails to me. I mean, she'd just take up her iPad and say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, you're a very bad mother, and stuff like that. And her academics was falling. We were having challenges at home, so much so that it went to a point where I went to her parent teacher meeting, and her teacher just threw the report card on my table and said, your daughter has failed pretty much all subjects, and she's dyslexic. She's socially incapable. I don't think this is the school for her. You need to put her in a special school. So that's how uh, rock bottom we hit. And from there, two things. One is I was never going to let the world tell me what my daughter is capable or not capable of. And second, as a doctor, I knew that there was something else that was bothering the child inside, and I had to be there in that journey with her and help her out.
So, how do you
So
effectively communicate with your children to understand what they actually want? It is always a tough call, they would not share so easily with you.
The best part is we have been taught how to do this right from the day they are born. They don't know how to communicate with you. They've been crying every time. As a mother, you're able to understand whether they're crying for food, or they're crying for a stomach pain, or whether they're crying. I mean, that's how they have been used to it, that they know that if they need your attention, they seek it in the most difficult manners. Okay, because that's what they know. They don't know how to communicate it right, or they want for you to actually come and help them out. Those are the helpless cries, which comes out as anger. And when they are angry and you are angry, then it is only ladai there. It's not that they understand, or they wantedly are putting it out at you, but they are facing their own stress and challenges. I mean, it's not like the days when we were growing up. The only information that we got was from our closed circle family, and we also had a very supportive family structure. Grandmother, grandfather, auntie, uncle, everyone were there. So someone as an adult was always there to supervise and guide you through this journey. But our children these days have gone into these nuclear families that they don't know who to reach out to for help. And every time it's the mobile phone, and it's like bombarding them with so much information that you just never know what's happening in their lives. And what was actually happening in Ashley's life was that she was being bullied in school.
So, did she ever
She
come and told you about she being bullied at school?
never, never. because I was not available for her to tell. Every time she comes to talk to me, I was only saying, you're not studying properly, you're on the cell phone the whole time, you're not eating properly. Instead of being a mother, I was just becoming this mother-in-law and saying, you're not doing this. I was not looking at what was going on. I was
So
only
now,
looking at what was not going on.
okay, see, most of the parents, we want to try to bring the best of a child, and that's why we put so much of restrictions, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. To a point, it goes out of a control that the child will always do the opposite of what you say. So, how effectively communicate and try to bring or extract best out of our kids?
Okay, for a minute, I just want to take you back to your childhood. Things in your childhood and things currently are very different. There was a time where we were scared of our parents. Whatever our parents said, we had to listen to them. That was the culture. Right now, that's not the way it is. What's happening here is every time you say no to the child just registers the no and not the message after the no. So it's like by the time the child hears the no, what the child psychologically presumes is that I am not good enough. You get the point? If I am not good enough, then why should I try? Which is easier? Giving up is easier or trying is easier? What is the motivation for me to try? Is the question that runs inside the child's head. At that point, when I was just bombarding Ashley with everything and telling her she needs to study, she needs to work, she needs to eat, she needs to do this, what I was essentially showing her was a mirror of how bad she was. I was never showing a mirror of how good she can be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Which is when
how did you twist the sentences later to bring the best out of her?
that was a time when it hit rock bottom. I decided that this was not the place that I wanted Ashley to be in. So I had to take her out of the school, put her in another boarding school. And I decided to have what we call as the hot conversation, honest and open talk, which is what we write in our book, I Misunderstood, the complete way how we communicate with one another. It's before going ahead and expecting something from the child is here and it sees the parent here. And it sees the parent as someone who's perfect. And the more and more we keep telling the child that he is not good, she is not good, the more and more the distance grows. And yet distance and this gap can never be bridged. So what I did was I brought myself to her level, meaning not bring myself down or up, at the same level, and share with her how I had failed in my exams, how I had failed in my life, and how I wanted her to be a part of my journey. So instead of telling her what she's good or not good at, I told her where and all I went wrong and how I changed my path and how I needed her support for me to go forward. So instead of, that's the twist in the story there. I allowed her to lead and show me what she is good at. And I became her number one fan.
That's hats off to you, because very rarely you will have children where your mother is your number one fan or your best friend. Mind you, audience, Ashley's best friend is her mother, Dr. Sharmila, which is very rare to hear, or you can never see such a lovely thing, because of some commitment Ashley is not able to be here. But ma'am, one more thing. We always try to raise a confident child. So when in the journey of trying to raise a confident child, we sometimes boost our child so much that there's a very thin line between being confident and being overconfident. So how do you make your child confident at the same time they don't cross the border and become overconfident where they don't see their negativity?
So I always relate a child to being a tree. Okay, there's this famous quote which says, "Children come through you, not to you." Somewhere we start owning the child and wanting the child to grow up in the way that we want them to grow. And I see this happening with more parents that, I always hear them say, I did not do all of this when I was a child and I wish you do all of this and I really want you to lead the best life. But what we don't realize is we are putting unwanted stress, our failures onto our child's head and making sure that they are also becoming failures. Like I told you, I'm going to be very, very honest in this conversation, because one of two things will happen: either people will love me or they will hate me, but it's okay. We need to understand that if like a tree, we are able to allow the child to grow up high, we need to be very sure that the roots are growing really deep as well. That's when the child can really stand. So that is where that overconfidence will actually not happen, when you are grounding the child with values. I call it as the gratitude. Every day we follow gratitude at home. When the whole world is in lockdown, at least we are able to spend time together. We have food to eat. We have a roof over our top. These are all things that can be brought out only when the child feels entitled to things. That's when overconfidence comes in. When the child knows that they have to earn the things that they have in life, then they get into this platform where they understand that my parents are working so hard for me. It's my responsibility to also contribute in the journey. Does that make sense? I mean, or is it going a little over?
No, it totally
Confident.
makes.
Sorry?
Continue, ma'am. I said it totally makes sense, and please continue.
Absolutely. Thank you. So the point here is, Doctor, every part of my journey, I was absolutely transparent with Ashley and told her every time she was doing good, I'd first tell her that, that was amazing. Amazing. You did really well. Because she always had an option to not do that. Be it writing the
Okay.
book, being going out and helping people out, being mentoring students. She always has an option to say, no, I don't want to do it. And I can never force her to do anything. But
So
because
for
she
this
wanted,
journey, you had never forced Ashley to do anything. She voluntarily came up and she had the willpower to do it, or that you had to constantly mentor her.
I had to constantly walk in front of her and show the way. Ashley was 3 years old. I put her on my lap and said, baby, come, let's cut your nails. 3-year-old, mind you. She looked at my hand, then she looked up at me and she said, Mama, you haven't cut your nails. So the point is, if I had to do something with Ashley, I had to do it along with her. Or I had to show her. I could never instruct her. The other very important thing is, children never listen to you, but they always follow you. Whatever you're doing, they will follow. So if I wanted her to go and, we went on this learning journey. I made sure that I took her to the best of best mentors and got her through all of the journey, education. But I had to walk along with her, or walk in front of her so that she'd walk along. So I never forced her into things, but I always showed her, this is a nice way to do. Can you try this a little bit more? I remember the time when we went on these, 12 hours conferences. She'd sleep and fall on my head, and I'd feel like a terrible mom there. I mean, why am I putting my child through all of this? But that was the education that she needed. So I'd have to nudge her like that, be a little stern a little times, and then go and apologize. So it's not like we have a perfect relationship. We have accepted that our relationship is not ever going to be perfect. That was the greatest learning that I got from my mentor, Mr. Blair Singer. Just said, what are you trying to do? You're trying to be a perfect mom, and you're expecting perfections from your daughter, which is never going to happen. The minute I accepted that I'm an imperfect mom and I'm having an imperfect child, the journey became beautiful.
Okay. Ma'am, would you like to give us some tips as to, how effectively or how better parenting could be, so that we could, instead of trying to, instruct all the time, do this, do that, we lead our children in such a way that they become inspiring, or, they follow what they want to do, rather than, we trying to say, you have to become this, you have to become this. They should have some motivation or some goal to achieve something in life. Certain tips on these aspects.
Okay, I tell them that 3 things you need to do, 3 M's. If you really want your child to become this young leader, then you need to have 3 M's in their life. Number 1 M is have a mentor. No matter what, you can be the best parent, but having a mentor will always give your child that edge, because they will listen to what the mentor says. They'll not listen to the same thing that your the parent says exact same things. And it happens in our house. I mean, Ashley has mentors for every area in her life. I will tell her exactly the same thing the day before. She said, no mom, it's okay, we'll do tomorrow. The next day her mentor will say the same thing and she'll say immediately, let's get it done. Children want that motivation, and mentors are able to bring out the best in your child. That's number one, M. Number two is have a method for everything. Emotions and all don't work, but when you have systems and methods for things, it works like magic. Because children know that when they do this, they get this. When they complete this, they get this. It's like, and you're also not kach over it. Okay, I'm just being very colloquial here. When you cut the emotions out, when you put methods at home, this is the time you have to get up, this is the time you have to go to school, and they set the method. And then when the methods work, it's amazing. And number three is have a mastermind. When they are in the midst of children who are really like them, wanting to succeed in life, it gives them the positive peer culture. And that's exactly what we've been doing for the last 2.5 months during lockdown. Doctor, we've been mentoring over 6,000 students from all across the country as well as outside as well, to find their strength. Everyone has an inner strength. Along with academics, when you're able to find that inner strength, and we are giving them that proper mentorship, proper methods, and a mastermind which is cheering them, these children go on to doing amazing things. In the last 2.5 months, you won't believe it, 13 children have written their own book, and all from the ages of 7 years to 15 years. It's amazing what children can do, but they need that those 3 M's. If you're able to give it to your child, they are on the path to success.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this inspiring talk and tips on how to bring the best out of your kid and inspire them. Next time, I would like to see Ashley along with you. I know she's been very busy today. And ma'am, would you like to tell about the digital mastery which you are taking online for the on your journey of your Million Smile journey? Something about it to wrap up quickly.
Wow, that's so nice, doctor, that you caught on the Million Smiles journey. Amazing. Thank you so much. So what we are doing is we are running a public speaking mastery program for children. It's a 5-day WhatsApp course where we take them from being the shy, withdrawn child to a child who can deliver their first errors-free speech in just 3 steps. So like I said, they have the M, the mentors, Ashley and me, helping them on. We give them the proper method where they can go from, being a little shy to writing their own speech and delivering their own speech. And the third one is they are going to be delivering their speech in a community of what I call the mastermind, where they come and get the support from other children who are just like them, who've gone through the program. So when the child finds their voice, they're able to communicate with you in a very, very nice way. And you're also able to see that the child has so much more hidden potential inside. It's not what the child doesn't have, but it's what the child has that you can instill and appreciate and bring it out.
Sometimes we fail to forget, fail to look at the hidden potential, that what my child is best at, how to take that out, how to find out that what is your child best at, We as parents are always confused about these things.
It's a journey, doctor. It's a journey. I mean, I went from putting Ashley in her painting class to her Kumon class to her drawing class to her guitar class. I tried everything. She hated it. Frankly, she hated it. From there, it's like law of elimination. Then she finally understood that writing was her passion, and that's where the book came on. Speaking was her passion. Every time she spoke, she was able to bring out all. After she became a speaker is when I got to know that Ashley was bullied in school. I never knew till then, because she did
when did she write her first book, ma'am? At what age she wrote her first book?
Ashley was 14 years old when she wrote her first book, and the same child
Wow.
who failed in all subjects had to write this book and submit the manuscript 3 days before her 10th standard board exam. Not only did she finish the book, but she also topped her school, and the book got launched at the National Achievers Conference by Jack Canfield. So things happen. We just need to give it time and be there to support your child no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah, that is the best point. Yes, you are the only one who can support your child no matter what happens. If you don't support your child, nobody else will. Try to take out the best of a child. Try to support them. Give all the comfort which is required. At the same time, try to find out what passion makes the child drive and try to bring best out of it. Because every child is different. You cannot expect every child to become a teacher or an engineer or a doctor. Everybody's got their own passion. Look out for their passion and try to give them the best mentoring, as ma'am says. Thank you so much. Till we meet again. Bye.
Bye bye.